5 years earlier, Emmanuel had been a 200 level student at the University of Nigeria, Nsukka. He was brilliant. He was studying electrical engineering. In his class, no one could match him. He was always the best. His brain worked fast, like lightning inside a small bottle. But intelligence doesn't pay school fees. His father, Pa Okechukwu, was once a headmaster, a strict one, known in the hometown as Pa Correct. He wore the same brown trousers that never lost their shape, and his eyes were always sharp. But now, Pa Okechukwu was old. His pension had stopped, like a clock without a battery. Every morning, he sat on a wooden stool in front of the old house, reading a torn newspaper from the previous year, waiting for money that never came. His mother, Mama Okechukwu, was soft and round like a warm loaf of bread. She tied a wrapper above her chest and sold groundnut oil in the hometown market. Her voice was always loud, but her hands trembled when she counted coins. Sometimes she would return home with tears hidden behind her smile. Today was slow, she would say, wiping sweat from her chest, but God will provide. Emmanuel never complained. He understood their struggle. Every day, he walked to class wearing shoes that had split open at the front. His bag was torn. His books were old. But inside him burned a quiet fire. Then came the notice. It was a small piece of paper slapped onto the hostel door like bad news. All students owing fees must pay before the end of the month or face withdrawal. Emmanuel stared at it. His hands turned cold. His heart pounded like hometown drums during the New Yam festival. That night he sat in his room. The ceiling fan above him spun slowly, as if it too had lost hope. His roommate Emeka was eating noodles. He looked at Emmanuel. "Bro, are you gonna pay?" Emmanuel didn't reply. He just shook his head and looked away. His throat was dry. Emeka sighed. "That's tough. I'm sorry." Emmanuel turned to face the wall. He buried his face in his pillow. He didn't want Emeka to see the tears, but they came anyway, slow and silent like raindrops falling on dry, tired ground. He whispered, "God, what should I do?" No answer came. Only the slow spinning of the fan and the hunger deep in his stomach. The next day, he sat under the mango tree behind the hostel. He didn't eat. He didn't speak. His thoughts went round and round like a goat tied to a single post. That evening, Emeka plugged in his laptop to charge. Emmanuel looked at it, then looked away, then looked again. A small idea crept into his mind like a thief tiptoeing into a quiet room. He swallowed hard, then said, "Emeka, can I use your laptop tonight?" Emeka blinked. "For what?" "I want to browse. Maybe find something. Anything." Emeka shrugged. "Sure, just don't break it." Emmanuel gave a weak smile. "Thank you." That night when everyone had fallen asleep, Emmanuel opened the laptop. The blue light reflected off his face. He typed gently. His fingers moved slowly. He didn't go to Facebook. He didn't open YouTube. He searched for something else. How to make money online fast. He scrolled, then clicked a link. A forum opened. It was dark, full of strange words and codes. But at the top, one sentence blinked like a warning. Financial solutions for the brave. Emmanuel stared at the screen, then clicked again. He didn't know it yet, but that was the first step into something deep, something dangerous, something he might never escape from. The following evening, the sky over Nsukka was quiet. The moon hid behind a cloud, as if it didn't want to witness what was about to happen. Inside the room, Emmanuel sat on the edge of his bed. His eyes were fixed on the laptop screen, like someone watching a lion sleep. He took a deep breath. Emeka, he called softly. Emeka was lying on the bed beside him, half asleep. He murmured. Please, can I use your laptop again tonight? Emeka turned his head lazily. Your assignment is really taking long. It's not an assignment, Emmanuel replied. I want to try something. Please. Emeka yawned. No problem. But make sure you plug it properly. The charger is loose. Emmanuel nodded. His hands were already itching. His eyes were burning with thoughts too big for his age. When Emeka finally fell asleep, Emmanuel sat cross-legged, like a child about to break a family rule. The only light in the room came from the laptop. It lit his face but left his heart in darkness. He opened the same form again. Financial Solutions for the Brave. The name blinked. It looked harmless, but what was inside was not. He clicked. He scrolled. Then he joined a group. The group didn't have friendly names. It had usernames like Dark King, Crypto Ghost, and Payhack001. One of them sent him a message. Do you want to eat or do you want to stay broke? I just want to pay my school fees, Emmanuel typed. Then do what we teach. Follow the steps. No noise, no guilt. They sent him a file. It was a guide, long, detailed, full of instructions. How to create a fake PayPal, how to trick people, how to take money from strangers who would never see it coming. Emmanuel stared at the file. His hands trembled. His lips pressed tightly together, like a wound trying to stay closed. He told himself one lie. Just this once. I'll stop after this. No one will ever know. He followed the guide slowly, like a child learning to walk in darkness. He created a fake email, a fake profile, a fake story. He found a man from America, a kind man, a man who thought he was helping his sick cousin in Ghana. Using all the sneaky tactics he had learned, after 3 days, he was able to convince the man to send him money. Then, the man sent $500, and just like that, Emmanuel became a thief inside the quiet of a dark hostel room. When the alert came, Emmanuel froze. His heart stopped for a second. Then he jumped up and shouted, Yes! Amika woke up suddenly. What happened? Nothing. I just remembered that I passed one of my courses. Emmanuel lied quickly. Emeka yawned and lay back down, but Emmanuel's eyes were wide open. He stood up and danced silently, his arms lifted in the air. His breath quickened. He didn't wait. The next morning, he paid his school fees in full. He cleared all his hostel debts, including his house rent. He bought foodstuffs and even got new clothes for himself. And with 60,000 naira remaining, he sent 20,000 naira to his mother. That night, Mama Okechukwu called, her voice filled with joy. My son, God has done it. Where did you get this kind of money? Oh, Mama, Emmanuel smiled. Online job, digital work. I help people abroad. Mama clapped over the phone. You are my golden son. God bless your hands. But Emmanuel's fingers didn't feel blessed. That night he couldn't sleep. He stared at the ceiling. Something inside his chest had shifted. His heart had tasted easy money, and now it wanted more. He closed his eyes and whispered again, just this once. But even he didn't believe it anymore. It didn't take long. The second job came like Harmattan wind, dry, fast, and without warning. Emmanuel had told himself he would stop, that the first one was enough. But one night, he sat again with the laptop. His finger moved like it had its own mind. He opened that dark forum again. This time, he didn't need to ask questions. His name was already known. A message came. You want real money? Join the crypto gang. What's that? Emmanuel asked. We don't scam people. We scam systems. The group was filled with strange names again. Coin snatcher, block hack, Hex Lord. It was Hex Lord who messaged him. You're new, I'll guide you. He spoke with short words, like a man who didn't like wasting time. Don't be soft, he said. If you want school fees, go farm. If you want big money, open your eyes. Emmanuel opened his eyes. Hexlord sent him another file. This one taught how to build a fake crypto exchange, a full website that looked like Binance, but was not Binance. They cloned the design. They copied the logos. They even added fake reviews. Then Hexlord said, now go hunt. Emmanuel found a man from Canada. The man had a small beard, always online, always asking questions about crypto. Emmanuel pretended to be a guide. He sent him the link to the fake site. The man signed up. The man invested $12,000, just like that. When the alert came, Emmanuel didn't scream this time. He just smiled, a slow smile, the kind that knows it's not right, but feels good anyway. He didn't wait. He went to the market, bought new jeans, new shirts, new wristwatch, the one that sparkled when the sun touched it. He walked past his classmates. Some greeted him. He didn't stop. One girl whispered, "Is that not Emmanuel? I thought he was struggling." Another said, "See his shoe. Looks foreign." Emmanuel changed his laptop. He changed his SIM card. He stopped going to lectures. He was now always in his room, headphones on, watching videos of American accents. "Hi, how are you doing? It's Dr. Ryan. Nice to meet you." He practiced in front of a mirror, over and over again. "Hello, ma'am. I'm so sorry for your loss. You're not alone." His voice began to sound different. His smile began to lie easily. Then one afternoon, he opened his drawer. He brought out a form. It was a business registration form. He filled it quietly. EJ Tech Global Ventures. That was the name. He didn't know why he picked it. Maybe because he still wanted to pretend it was digital work. But deep down, the boy who once cried for school fees was disappearing. A new one was rising. A colder one. A sharper one. A ghost in designer shoes. By this time, Emmanuel no longer looked like a student. He wore perfume that smelled like a rich man's promise. His jeans hugged him tight, his shirts were crisp, and his phone, new, big, always ringing. He didn't walk fast anymore. He strolled, slowly, like the air belonged to him. His mind was now sharp like a cutlass, and his heart, it had grown cold, cold like morning dew on a grave. One night, while the frogs croaked outside his window and the hostel generator hummed softly, Emmanuel opened his laptop again. He clicked a dating site. He used a fake picture, a handsome white man in a lab coat. He gave himself a new name, Dr. Ryan Matthews. He wrote, orthopedic surgeon, widowed, lives in California, looking for love and peace. Then he waited. She came 2 days later. Her name was Linda, 46 years old, from Oregon, lonely, soft-hearted, full of hope. She sent him a message. "You have kind eyes." Emmanuel smiled to himself. He typed back, "It's been hard since I lost my wife, but I believe God sends angels when we need them." Linda replied with a heart emoji. And so it began. Every day, they chatted. Morning, afternoon, night. She told him about her garden. He told her about fake surgeries. She sent photos of her cats. He sent photos of a hospital he downloaded from Google. Sometimes he would type, "I wish you were here. I miss your smile." And Linda would reply, "You make me feel young again." Then one evening he said, "I want to fly down to meet you. But there's a problem. My hospital bills, they're hanging over me like dark clouds. $65,000. If I can clear them, I can come. Clear them? Linda didn't reply for a long time. He waited. Then his phone buzzed. I don't have that kind of money, but I've been saving for years. I can send you something. 2 days later, it came. $35,000. Clean, fresh, sharp like the sound of breaking silence. Emmanuel stood up and shouted, "Yes!" so loud that his roommate banged on the wall. He didn't waste time. He packed out of the hostel. He rented a short-let apartment in Lekki, the kind with marble floors and glass balconies. He walked into a car stand and pointed at a Mercedes-Benz. 2017 model, the seller said. Emmanuel smiled. I'll take it. Cash. Just like that. People in Lekki began to notice him. Fine boy, soft voice, always online, always quiet. But money followed him like shadow. In the mirror, Emmanuel no longer saw a student. He saw a man who controlled the world with his laptop. He told himself again, this is the last. Just one more and I'm done. But deep inside, even he knew he was lying. After that, Emmanuel changed his name. He called himself Dr. MJ. It sounded foreign, sharp, untouchable. He even had a new signature, bold letters with a long tail under the J. He practiced it on napkins, on receipts, on the mirror. Dr. MJ wore gold chains now. Not too big, not too small, just enough to say, I'm bigger than you. He smoked fine cigars. He stopped replying messages without dollar signs. And every time someone asked, what do you do? He would smile and say, digital strategy. But it was not just him anymore. He now had 6 boys under him. Junior, Victor, Shino, Dollars, Sly, and the youngest, Praise. Each one had their own laptop, their own SIM cards, their own roles. Emmanuel trained them himself. He showed them how to write like Americans, how to sound like Canadians, how to trick like pros. He gave them targets, old women, businessmen, lovers, job seekers. And every week, they brought back cash. He took his cut, they took theirs, and life moved fast. The apartment in Lekki, he upgraded it. The Benz now had a custom plate, MJ01. He went to clubs, bought bottles, tipped waiters in bundles. Even police officers greeted him like he was governor's son. But one day, a bigger door opened. It came through a reply to an email he had sent weeks ago. We are a U.S. charity raising funds for earthquake victims in Haiti. We are seeking trusted partners on the ground in Africa. Emmanuel didn't blink. He saw the words, and his heart danced. He created a fake team. He named it African Field Relief. He built a website in one night, paid a designer, stole photos of real aid workers, hired a voice-over actor for a video, even printed fake ID cards. He went on Zoom calls wearing a shirt and tie. He used his white man accent. Hello, I'm Dr. MJ, Field Director of AFR. We've helped 2,000 families already. With your help, we can reach more. He sent reports. He sent photos. He sent lies, and they believed. The woman on the Zoom call said, "You sound passionate. We're impressed." A week later, the wire came in. $2 million straight into a dummy account. Clean, sharp, heavy. Emmanuel sat in the middle of his penthouse, barefoot, holding a glass of wine. He looked out the window. Cars moved far below like ants. Lights blinked like stars. He smiled and whispered to himself, I'm now a ghost. No one can catch me. And in that moment, the boy who once cried for school fees became a king of shadows. Days later, when he returned to his hometown in Anambra, the whole town gathered. His shoes were white. His agbada flowed like river water. 2 boys walked behind him, holding his bags. His car, a silver Toyota Highlander, stopped right in front of their old compound, and the whole street came alive like dry leaves catching fire. Children pointed, women whispered, men stood still. Is that not Okechukwu's son? Is that not the boy who went to Nsukka? He has returned like a king. And truly he did. He didn't return with plastic bags or old boxes. He came with builders, with engineers, with decorators, with a new house plan in his hand, a 5-bedroom bungalow for his parents. Within 3 months, the old mud house was gone. In its place stood a 5-bedroom bungalow, shining like a new coin. The floors were tiled. The toilets had mirrors. The chairs were imported. The fridge hummed softly, like it was singing a rich man's song. He installed solar panels on the roof. I don't want electricity problems, he said. He called a car dealer from Lagos. They brought a Highlander, smooth, clean, full option. He handed the key to his father. Papa, this is yours now. Pa Okechukwu held the key like it was gold. He didn't smile. He didn't jump. He just looked at the car, then looked at his son. What job gives this kind of money, Emmanuel? Emmanuel smiled, a quiet smile, the kind that hides more than it shows. Digital business, Papa. I run online campaigns. Pa Okechukwu didn't blink. He looked at him again. You mean campaigns that build 5-bedroom houses, campaigns that buy cars? Emmanuel looked away. It's complicated, Papa. But beside him, Mama Okechukwu clapped her hands and danced. My son is rich. I said it. I told you people. He is not a thief. He is not in court. Look at my son. She tied a new lace wrapper that day, gold and purple. Her bangles made music on her wrists. She took the 5 million naira her son gave her and went straight to the market. She bought wrappers, bags, shoes, and a washing machine. She placed it in the center of the compound like a trophy. I won't wash with my hands again, she laughed. The God of Emmanuel has remembered me. Every Sunday, she wore new clothes and walked to church like a queen. She started using perfume. She added English to her greetings. Even the pastor said, Sister Okechukwu, please lead us in thanksgiving. But inside the new house, one person was not dancing. Pa Okechukwu sat on his wooden chair, the same one he carried from the old house. He watched, he listened, and one day he called Emmanuel outside. They stood under the mango tree where Emmanuel used to read his books. Tell me the truth, he said. What do you really do? Emmanuel looked at his feet. Papa, it's still online business. Pa Okechukwu sighed. He looked at the house, at the car, at the solar panels, then back at his son. I hope this house was not built with shame. Emmanuel didn't answer. He smiled again, but this time the smile didn't reach his eyes. Emmanuel looked down. His fingers tapped the glass cup. Papa, he said, why do you always say this? People in the hometown are proud of me. Even the pastor prays for me. Why can't you just be proud too? Pa Okechukwu leaned forward. I taught in this land for 35 years, he said. I know what money from sweat looks like. And I also know what money from lies smells like. You are lying, my son. I've told you, Papa. Digital investments, online business, Emmanuel replied, eyes fixed on his phone. Pia Okechukwu paused, then continued. Business that you can't explain, that we can't see. You think I don't know what this is? I was not born yesterday. How can a boy who couldn't pay school fees 4 years ago now be flying first class and giving churches millions? Emmanuel's mouth opened slightly, but no words came out. His face was still, his ears burned. But I don't steal, Papa. Pa Okechukwu shook his head. Stealing is not only when you carry cutlass. It's when you take what is not yours. even if you wear suit. He stood up slowly. His back was straight, like truth. He looked around the living room. The shining floor, the gold clock, the smooth cushions. Then he walked out. 10 minutes later, he came back into the living room with a small bag in his hand. "Where are you going?" Emmanuel asked. "I'm going home," Papa said, "but this is your home." "No," he said. "This one is not mine. I cannot live in a house I suspect was built with stolen money. I would rather sleep in my leaking zinc house than live in comfort built on shame." Emmanuel stood still, frozen like statue. He watched as his father walked to the door and stepped into the sunlight. The same man who once gave him chalk to write on blackboard was now walking away from his mansion, back to the old mud house with the leaking roof, the one with cracked walls and broken windows, the house he built long ago with teacher's salary. But Mama Okechukwu, she stayed. She wore a bright red lace wrapper the next day. She cooked jollof rice with goat meat. She invited her women's group. They danced in the compound. They clapped and praised. "Her son is now a big man," they said. She didn't cry. She laughed. When someone asked, "Where is Papa Okechukwu?" she waved her hand. "Please leave that man, always talking too much. At least me, I'm enjoying the fruit of my womb." She told everyone, "Very soon my son will take me to London. He said I'll snap picture in front of Queen's house." Then one evening, while eating catfish pepper soup, she said something that made the whole house go quiet. Pa had sent a message. He said, "When they come for him, I hope you'll go to prison with him." But Mama Okechukwu just sipped her soup and laughed. "Prison?" she said. "At least prison has fan and mattress, better than that hot, smelly house he ran back to. Did your teaching job ever give me one necklace? Did it build house for us? At least my son has done what your pension could never do." And then she licked her finger, as if shame had no taste. In Lekki, Emmanuel couldn't sleep. His father's words stayed in his head. "I know dirty money. I will not live in a house built with shame." Even when he closed his eyes, he heard it again. His hands were shaking. He got up, walked to the window, looked outside. Lekki was quiet, but his heart wasn't. He poured a drink, sat at the edge of his bed, then whispered to himself, "Just one more. One last hit. Then I vanish." He opened his laptop. A new email had come. It was from a UK trust, a real one. They wanted to support solar projects in African small towns. They were ready to give big money to people on the ground. Emmanuel didn't blink. He sat up. This was the one, the final one. He created a new fake group. He called it Green Givers Africa. He bought a domain. He made a website. He hired a graphic designer. He paid actors, real ones, to wear branded polo and stand in slum areas with solar lanterns. They smiled. They waved. They carried small children and turned on fake lights. He recorded everything. He even paid someone to fly a drone. Then he wore his glasses, a tight shirt, and joined Zoom calls with white people. "Good morning, team," he said in soft foreign accent. "We've reached 120 homes so far, but with your support, we can light up 3,000 more." They nodded. They smiled. One of them, a gray-haired woman, said, "You're doing wonderful work, Doctor." MJ. He bowed slightly. He sent them fake reports, fake signatures, fake receipts. They clapped. "This is real impact," they said. For 3 weeks, they asked questions. For 3 weeks, Emmanuel answered like a smooth snake. Then one morning, the email came. "Congratulations. Your grant has been approved. $750,000, will be sent to your account within 48 hours. Emmanuel stared at the screen. His chest rose slowly. He didn't shout. He didn't dance. He just stood up and walked to the balcony. The sun was rising. The wind blew through the curtain. He whispered, "This is it. I'm done." The morning the email arrived, Emmanuel didn't jump. He just smiled. A small, dangerous smile. Funds successfully transferred. That was all the message said. But it was enough. He closed the laptop, got up, took out his travel bag. He packed fast, like a man running from fire. Shirts, trousers, shoes, cash, passport. He opened the drawer, picked his fake IDs, his documents, his backup phone. He booked a direct flight to Istanbul. No layovers, no distractions. He walked through his Lekki penthouse for the last time, room by room. He turned off the lights, locked the doors, dropped the keys with the estate guard, and said, "Traveling for business." Then he stepped into his car and drove to Murtala Muhammed International Airport. No music, no calls. He had already thrown away his Nigerian SIM cards like rotten fruit. At the airport, he wore a black hoodie, dark glasses, a face mask, his beard trimmed low. He looked like a man going for holiday, quiet, clean, calm. But inside his heart was racing. His business class ticket was in his pocket. He walked past the crowd, past the shouting taxi drivers, past the long queues. Then he saw something, just near the check-in counter. A man standing with a backpack touched his ear. A second man, near the duty-free shop, stood up and walked to the side. They didn't look at each other, but their eyes were moving, sharp, fast. And in that moment, Emmanuel felt it. A weight, a cold heaviness in his chest. His legs kept moving, but his heart had already stopped. He had almost reached the check-in counter. The woman there smiled. "Good morning, sir. Passport, please." Just as he reached for it, a voice came from behind him. "Mr. Emmanuel Okechukwu." The whole world paused. Emmanuel froze. He turned slowly. "Yes?" Two men were standing behind him. One short, one tall, dark trousers, polo shirts, nothing special. But both had the same eyes, eyes that knew everything. The short one said, "Please step aside." Emmanuel dropped his bag slowly. Then suddenly, he ran. He pushed past a family with two children. He jumped over a trolley. He ran through security, through people. People shouted. Someone screamed, "Stop him!" His legs moved fast like a hunted animal. But he didn't get far. Near the departure gate, 4 men tackled him to the ground. One twisted his wrist. The other held his neck. Another opened a wallet and flashed a badge. "INTERPOL." The voice was calm but firm. "You're under arrest for cyber fraud, money laundering, and international charity scams." Emmanuel stopped struggling. He lay on the floor, breath heavy. The airport noise faded. All he could hear was the pounding in his ears. His eyes turned dark, his lips dry, his heart shattered like glass thrown on concrete. He had money, he had style, he had plans. But now he had nothing. Everything was over. That evening, before the sun disappeared, Emmanuel's face was already everywhere. TVs, phones, news websites, even people's mouths. "Scammer Kingpin Caught." That was the headline, written in bold red letters, like blood on a white wall. They showed his picture from a wedding, spraying bundles of cash like leaves during Harmattan. Another photo came up. Emmanuel beside his Mercedes, smiling, teeth white, glasses dark, arms folded like a boss. Then a video of him in his hometown church, giving offering in envelopes that looked fat like pillow. The same people who once clapped for him. now began to hiss. I knew it. He was too flashy. So it was scam money. God will judge him. Interpol released a statement. We have been tracking Emmanuel Okechukwu for over 1 year. He operated under 9 different names across 5 countries with deep connections, fake websites, fake documents, and stolen identities. They said his fraud ring touched the UK, US, Canada, Dubai, and Asia. They showed bank accounts, voice recordings, fake charity reports. People gasped. They saw his boys, Junior, Dollars, Sly, the whole team. One by one, they were picked like ripe mangoes. Police sealed his apartment in Lekki, took the cars, took the land papers, took the watches, the gadgets, the bags of cash. Even the Highlander in the hometown was carried away. Over 600 million naira in assets gone. Emmanuel sat behind bars that night. No laptop, no perfume, no suit, just silence and regrets that screamed louder than any jail siren. Back in Anambra, clouds gathered early, not in the sky, but around Emmanuel's house. Men stood at the gate, women pointed, children whispered. I thought he was a real estate boss. Didn't he say he ran digital campaigns? He fooled everybody. The once celebrated mansion now stood like a rich man with no friends. Its doors were locked, its curtains pulled tight. Inside, Mama Okechukwu sat in the corner of her room. She didn't wear lace wrapper that Sunday. She didn't wear perfume. She didn't go to church. She closed all the windows. She didn't step outside. Even the washing machine was quiet. The town market noticed. No one saw her for days. But in the old house where the walls were cracked and the bench was still broken, Pa Okechukwu sat outside, hands behind his back. He said nothing. He didn't smile. He didn't cry. He just watched the road and waited. Then the court day came. They called the parents. Mama brought out her black scarf, wore big dark glasses to hide her swollen eyes. Papa came in his old brown kaftan, the same one he used to wear on Founders Day. When they entered the courtroom, people turned. Emmanuel was led in handcuffs, his feet dragged. His eyes were hollow. He looked once at his mother. She screamed, "Why didn't you run faster, my son?" Why? The judge banged the table. Silence. All eyes turned to Pa Okechukwu. He stood slowly. His voice was steady, soft like wind, sharp like truth. I warned you, he said, again and again, but you chose money over legacy. Then he turned to his wife. And you danced with him when he was spraying shame. So dance with him now, as he walks into prison. Mama fell to the chair. Her scarf slipped. She wept. But Papa just walked out, without looking back, because for him, the case had already been closed. The courtroom was full, not just with people, but with silence. A heavy kind of silence, the one that follows shame. Emmanuel stood in the dock. His hands were cuffed. His jumpsuit was too big. The collar dull, the sleeves long. The judge entered. Everyone stood, then sat. He opened a file, thick like a village storybook. He cleared his throat. Emmanuel Okechukwu, you are charged with cyber fraud, money laundering, charity scams, wire crimes across multiple countries. Emmanuel looked down. His lips moved, but no words came. His lawyer stood. He wore a gray suit and tired eyes. My lord, the lawyer began, the accused is a first-time offender. He's a brilliant young man who simply made a mistake while trying to survive. The prosecutor laughed softly, then stood up and brought out a laptop. The judge nodded. The screen turned on. One by one, they showed it all. Photos of Emmanuel in clubs, screenshots of fake websites, videos of him on Zoom calls, lying in sweet accent, bank records, text messages, fake charity IDs. Then they played a voice recording, just one last hit. After this, I disappear. The courtroom didn't make a sound. Mama Okechukwu sat behind Emmanuel. She cried quietly, her wrapper soaked with tears. She held her chest like it wanted to break. But Papa Okechukwu sat straight, no blink, no shake, like a carved image in wood. Finally, the judge looked at Emmanuel. You were once a student, a son, a young man with hope. You started with need, but you fed on greed. Now you will face your reward. He banged the hammer. 10 years in prison. The courtroom gasped. Mama screamed and fell on the floor. Her hands stretched forward, but no one held her. Emmanuel stood frozen. His legs didn't move. Only his eyes did, turning to his father. But Papa said nothing. Not a word. Not a sigh. Just a stare. And silence that said everything. 2 officers grabbed him, one on each side. Their hands were firm, their boots heavy. Emmanuel didn't resist. He just walked, step by step, like a goat walking into a silent slaughter. As they reached the door, he turned his head. Just once, he saw his mother. She was on the floor crying, her scarf loose, her bangles silent. He saw his father, still seated, looking away, looking at the wall, or the floor, or maybe nothing at all. His legs suddenly felt weak, his knees soft, his shoulders dropped. The prison uniform now felt like a bag of stones on his back. For the first time in many years, Emmanuel didn't feel rich. He didn't feel sharp. He didn't feel untouchable. He felt cold, empty, ashamed. His eyes closed slowly, and inside that darkness, a voice whispered, soft like breeze, sharp like a slap. You should have listened to Papa. And with that, he disappeared behind the courtroom door, leaving behind money, mansions, and a name that once meant something. I hope you enjoyed the story. If so, please like the video, comment what you learned from the tale, share with friends and family, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel for more African tales just like this one. Thank you.